Hello, welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast episode number 355. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello. We're delving into faith or fear today, and it's for good reason. Now, when it comes to going after what we want in life, we tend to be fearful a lot of times. A perfect example of this is when I wanted to leave the confines of the East Coast and move to the West Coast, for better weather and a slower life. And I knew I wanted to do it for the longest time, and when the time finally came, I became fearful. I didn't have the faith in knowing that I was going to be okay. My mom had to reassure me that I was going to be good. And it took my mom to give me that confidence I needed to move forward with my life and that I'm going to be all right. And we have a tendency to be fearful to take a leap of faith with a lot of things. We worry so much about outcomes and we don't take into account the great outcomes that could potentially happen. We need to spread our wings more and fly and soar within the sky and feel the wind beneath our wings. And when we decide to face our fears and focus on our faith, we will move into a life of forward movement instead of looking back. We have a choice daily to either live in fear of what's to come or have faith in knowing that things will work out the way they're supposed to. And right now, I'm going through a certain phase of my life where things are going to significantly change. And I've known it for some time, I would say 2.5 months. And the good thing is I'm not fearful. I'm okay. I have faith in a lot of things. That things are going to work out at some point. It may not work out right away, but it will. And I'm here to say it's okay to doubt things a little, but don't live your life in fear. Don't be afraid of failing. That's what so many of us are worried about, and the judgment of others of our failures. And some of the most successful people in life go through failures, but they keep going. And sometimes we may want to give up, or we may say, whatever, forget this. I'm not doing this anymore. But there's always that one inkling feeling that you may have in you that says, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again. Whether it's what you love, whether it's what you're passionate for, whether it's a goal that you want to achieve that's, going to take a few years instead of a few months. Some goals are not always the right away goals. Sometimes that big goal does take 3 to 5 years, or sometimes that big goal may take 10 years. Who knows? Right? But if you have faith in knowing that you're going to get to where you want to be, sky's the limit, to be brutally honest. And that's tattooed on my right arm, sky's the limit with, praying hands and, to trust God. Now, I'm not going to sit here and get religious on you because that's not what I do. But I know that I have faith in God and what's going to work out for me. And you have to have faith in whatever you feel that's going to work out for you. So we always have the choice of whether we're going to have faith in things working out or we're going to be fearful. Fear can always be, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And, if you choose the latter, you choose option 2, that you'll get to where you want to be. And sometimes we all have all the great talents and abilities, and we're gifted in so many things, and we're trying to figure out the direction we're going in, or we're trying to figure out where we're supposed to be and where we're supposed to go in life. And it takes time. And I know everyone says, I don't have, as much time as I think, or whatever the case is. You do. You have a little more leeway and more leverage than you think. So I want us to start focusing more on faith than fear. And I've gotten better at it. It's taken some time for me to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I've always had faith in everything that I wanted to do and things of that nature. No, it's not reality. And to draw back to, me making this big move across the country, it'll be 4 years at the end of this year, which is crazy to me how time flies. I did it in a time where the world was shut down and, we were all watching ourselves and, all these things were going on around the world, and we were in the middle of, one of the craziest, events that I've ever, experienced in my life. And I knew that, okay, I literally want to leave during a time where the world is really not in the greatest place. So you would think to yourself, no, I'm not doing that right now. 2020 was one of the most craziest, most interesting years of my life. Other than 2001, when 9/11 happened, 2008 with the stock market. And that was another year that was very interesting to me also. I can't remember what year it was, but I'm a New Yorker, and there was a summer where we had a blackout, and it lasted for a while. And then there was Hurricane Sandy. I've experienced a lot of different things, and I've been through a lot in my life, and I'm quite sure you have too. But when we start to, head in the right direction, which is faith, and not going in the other direction, which is fear, all the opportunities come your way. All the opportunities, start to open up. We have to start opening doors and walking through them. Sometimes the door has been open for the longest time, and we choose not to walk through that door because we're fearful of what will happen. We have all failed at something, and it's okay to do that. I have failed at a lot of things. And at some point you get to a stage in your life where you don't let it consume you. And you know that it's part of the growth of yourself. It's part of the growth in your journey. Life is a journey. We have to embrace it. We have to take on, what's coming our way. And it's not always going to be good, and the sun isn't going to shine all the time. Sometimes it's going to be rainy, gloomy days where you got to just, get through it. So what I will say is we should start pushing ourselves to great heights. We have to be mindful of how we think about our lives and where we want to be and where we are currently. And we can't think about too far ahead in the future. Sometimes we need to just sit in the moment and be thankful for where we are in our lives. Because fear is a negative mindset that hinders our growth and hinders the potential for us to become the successful people that we are meant to be. So take the time, think about all of what I've said, and know that you are going to be good. It's the best way I can say it. All right, that's my podcast for today. I thank you for listening. As always, the podcast website is theaquarianmindpodcast.com. And quick announcement, my podcast is now on YouTube and YouTube Music. Yes, I made the move there too. So I have migrated my podcast to there. I mean, my podcast is on every platform you can think of: Apple, Spotify, Deezer, all that stuff, right? But now it's on YouTube. So if you want to find me on YouTube, the Aquarian Mind Podcast, you'll find me there. When you watch the YouTube videos, no, you're not going to see my face. So don't get too excited. But I do have another YouTube page. It's called Prose Pulse, PROSEPULSE. Or you can just type my name in the search, Jamel Crothers, and you'll find me. And you guys can watch videos there of content that I'm creating. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. So if you're on YouTube a lot, you can find me there too. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Have a good week. Be good and go accomplish your goals.